evening and welcome to your Wednesday, March 27, 2024 edition of the Evening News. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Texas-based LINDSAYCA to work on petrochemical plant, refinery, and oil block in Guyana. EPA probing human-induced wildfires countrywide as visibility along major highways impaired by thick smoke. Processing of Schengen visas to be done in Guyana next year, says EU ambassador. Robust exercise in progress to end spread of chickenpox at Lan Prison. And 3 girls drowned while swimming in pond at MASSARA. Now for the news in detail. Texas-based oil and gas firm LINDSAYCA has revealed that it will be playing a significant role in the development of 3 major initiatives in Guyana, a petrochemical plant being built as part of the gas-to-energy project, an oil refinery, and an offshore oil block, as part of Dominican Republic-funded projects being advanced in Guyana. Here is Jarl Bryan with our lead story tonight.
On Tuesday, chairman of U.S.-based oil and gas company LINDSAYCA, Hector Fuentes, participated in panel discussions at the United Caribbean Forum. He revealed that the company, which first came to Guyana less than 5 years ago, is now expanding beyond the power plants and natural gas liquid NGL facility it was contracted to build for the gas-to-energy project. According to Fuentes, the company is also planning to work on an oil refinery, a petrochemical plant, and an offshore block. These projects are understood to have been conceived from the cooperation agreements the Dominican Republic signed with Guyana last year.
Tenemos tres aspectos que estamos manejando y estamos en estudio. Uno es la refinería, otro una petroquímica y un bloque de producción.
We're working on 3 different fronts, among which we have the petrochemical plant, the refinery, and a block of production.
Pero lo importante, y aquí quiero resaltar, esto es una oportunidad no solo para estas empresas que acaban de conformar este consorcio, donde estamos incluidos nosotros. Es una oportunidad para todos el sector privado, tanto de Guyana como de República Dominicana.
But I would like to highlight that this is not only an opportunity for the companies already here, but for the private sectors in both countries.
Fuentes noted that during the company's time in Guyana, it has been able to see opportunities for business collaborations. However, he assured that LINDSAYCA is also committed to the social and environmental aspects of their operations.
Como LINDSAY tenemos ya 4 años acá en este país y hemos sentido que hay una oportunidad muy grande de prosperar, de ayudar a las metas que lleva el gobierno de Guyana.
LINDSAYCA has been here for the past 4 or 5 years, and we definitely see this as an opportunity to prosper for both the Guyanese and the Dominican Republic people.
Y por esa razón nos orgullece esta intersección y para nosotros es una colaboración histórica.
For us, it is a historical collaboration.
No solo en términos de capacidad económica, sino también como un catalizador para una mejora social.
We want energy to be the engine of positive change, not only in terms of economic capacity, but also as a catalyst for social improvement.
Back in 2022, LINDSAYCA and CH4 had partnered to construct the integrated NGL plant and the 300-megawatt combined cycle power plant as part of the gas-to-shore project. Jarl Bryan, The Evening News.
Today, the visibility along major highways was significantly impaired by thick smoke, prompting the Guyana Police Force to urge road users to exercise great caution while traveling. The Environmental Protection Agency subsequently issued a statement explaining that it is investigating a series of wildfires across 8 of the country's 10 administrative regions, which are the likely source of the heavy smoke that clouded the skies this morning. Luan McAllister reports.
Residents, particularly on the East Bank, West Bank, and west coast of Demerara on Wednesday morning, woke up to thick smoke blanketing the atmosphere, which lingered for several hours. Early morning commuters had to battle with extremely poor visibility as a result of the phenomenon. The Environmental Protection Agency has since issued a public alert, noting that wildfires have been detected across the country in regions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. The EPA said these fires are believed to have been ignited by a mixture of spontaneous combustion and possible human-induced. While noting that the matter is being investigated, the EPA urged residents within the affected areas to desist from lighting fires to burn garbage or vegetation. Meanwhile, the Guyana Fire Service says its officers are working tirelessly to contain and extinguish the fires, but they are facing challenges such as limited access to the area and resources. Amid the smoke hazard and its impact on air quality, the fire service has since advised citizens to remain indoors when possible and keep windows and doors closed. Moreover, it urged persons venturing outside to wear masks. The general public is also advised to report any sighting of fires to the Fire Service or the Civil Defense Commission and adhere to any advisory issued by local authorities. LaWanda McAllister, The Evening News.
Earlier this week, Guyana was one of 14 countries on the United Nations Security Council to support a resolution that called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, where the Israel-Hamas conflict continues to wreak havoc and claim lives every day. Gerald Bryan tells us more.
In an almost unanimous vote, Guyana on Monday was one of 14 countries on the United Nations Security Council to vote in favor of an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. When the vote was called, the lone abstention came from the United States, represented by Linda Thomas Greenfield. In her statement following the vote, Guyana's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Caroline Rodriguez-Burkett, welcomed the passage of the resolution for the ceasefire.
Guyana is pleased that this council has finally been able to adopt a resolution which demands an immediate ceasefire, albeit for the month of Ramadan, leading to a lasting and sustainable ceasefire. After more than 5 months of a war of utter terror and destruction, a ceasefire is the difference between life and death for the hundreds of thousands of Palestinians and others.
The diplomat also made a call for the immediate and unconditional release of hostages. She referenced the anguish of the families of hostages on both sides of the border.
The anguish of the families of the hostages held in Gaza continues to mount with no clear prospect for the return of their loved ones. Palestinians experience the same anguish, waiting for their relatives who are illegally detained in Israel to come home. Guyana emphasizes the demand for the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. We also demand the release of all Palestinians held in Israeli jails without trial. Mr. President, colleagues, the realities that the population of Gaza has been facing since 7th of October have worsened with each passing day as the occupying power continues its atrocities. Given these realities and the consensus by elected members of this council that we must act, Guyana unhesitatingly collaborated with fellow elected members to put forward this draft resolution for an immediate ceasefire, the unconditional release of hostages, and for expanding humanitarian assistance.
The resolution was drafted by the non-permanent members of the UNSC, including Guyana, Algeria, Malta, Mozambique, and Switzerland. It follows the failure of a previous US-led resolution that had also proposed a ceasefire but was defeated last week Friday, with 11 voting in favor, 3 against, and 1 abstention. Guyana had been that one abstention, with Rodriguez explaining at the time that the resolution did not call for an immediate ceasefire, nor did it explicitly hold Israel accountable for its part in the carnage. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
Vanu Manikchan joins us now to report that Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlao has called on the Inter-Parliamentary Union Assembly to use its platform to condemn injustice and transgressions against democracy and the rule of law. Here is more.
I appeal to each one of you to use the theme of this conference and the platform of your respective parliament to condemn the actions of Venezuela, to demand compliance with international law, and to call for diplomacy to be used as a bridge for peace and understanding. This is not a favor to Guyana. It is discharging a duty we owe to ourselves and indeed the world if we are to remain true to the founding principles of this great organization.
That was Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandlal speaking at the 148th IPU conference held in Geneva, Switzerland. He used the opportunity to update the conference on the Venezuelan parliament's recent action to adopt a law declaring the Essequibo region of Guyana a Venezuelan territory.
Venezuela continues to unlawfully claim 2/3 of the sovereign territory of its western neighbor Guyana. Significantly, by virtue of an intervention broken by CARICOM and CELAC, the presidents of Venezuela and Guyana signed an accord in Argyle, St. Vincent in December 2023, inter alia declaring not to take any steps to escalate this conflict, but to resort to diplomacy and dialogue in resolving it. During all of this, Guyana has maintained emphatically that the matter must be resolved by the ICJ. Further, Guyana has always maintained that diplomacy and dialogue must prevail over threats and confrontation.
Nandlal reminded the IPU Assembly of the power it holds to not just condemn Venezuela's aggression towards Guyana, but also the lack of democracy in the Spanish-speaking nation. He also used the opportunity to draw attention to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
This mighty army can easily be the greatest global agency of change, including procuring lasting peace and understanding. The IPU, being the largest global association of parliaments, with its grounding principles that dialogue is central to peaceful resolution of conflicts, is ideally poised to achieve this objective. Unfortunately, at this conference, we failed to harness this energy and marshal our thoughts to condemn the worst human rights tragedy in the world, Gaza, and the lack of democracy in Venezuela. These horrendous events, although occurring at opposite sides of the globe, together manifest the deadly havoc that armed conflicts wreaks and the social disorder and human sufferings that the absence of democracy produces. More than 30,000 are dead in Gaza. Nearly 8 million refugees have fled Venezuela.
Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
As the Guyana and Suriname sides advance talks on the financing and operational modalities of the highly anticipated Currentine River Bridge, the importance of this project being affordable and mutually beneficial to both countries has been underscored. Here is Vanu Manikchand again with the details.
Following a meeting between President Dr. Irfan Ali and his Surinamese counterpart, President Chandrika Prasad Santokhi, last weekend, the Suriname-Guyana Chamber of Commerce has applauded the progress being made on the Currentine River Bridge project. According to the Chamber, this bridge is not just a connection between Suriname and Guyana, but would also serve as a cornerstone for regional integration, facilitating the movement of people and enhancing trade and investment opportunities. However, the SGCC noted that without a concerted effort to reduce bureaucracy, streamline logistical processes, and dismantle other non-physical barriers, the bridge will not be able to fully earn back its money or realize its true potential. To this end, the Chamber urges both governments to take these concerns seriously and consider them in their planning and execution stages. It said, quote, "Addressing these challenges in tandem with the construction of the bridge is critical to unlocking the full scope of benefits the Currentine Bridge can bring to both countries. As the presidents prepare to enter the project's next stage, focusing on pricing, technical aspects, financing, and operational modalities, SGCC expresses its full support for these efforts." End quote. The Chamber added that, quote, "The SGCC is confident that the collaborative approach adopted by the two governments will ensure that the project's execution will be marked by affordability, efficiency, and mutual benefit." End quote. Following a meeting last Saturday, Presidents Ali and Santoki instructed the joint ministerial team to enter the next stage by engaging in discussions in relation to terms of pricing, technical aspects, financing, and operational modalities, with the shared objective of optimizing on affordability and concessionality. Experts will also jointly work towards a political and legal framework, starting the supervisory tendering process and drafting of the agreement regarding the ultimate board that will jointly manage the Corentyne River Bridge. Clear timelines for the finalization of these activities have been set. It was previously projected that construction of the bridge would commence this year. It has been reported that the high-span Corentyne River Bridge would be approximately 3.1 kilometers in length and would connect Molson Creek in Guyana to South Drain in Suriname, with a landing on Long Island in the Corentyne River, where a commercial hub and tourist destination would be established. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
Coming up, family upset after suspects in desecration of tomb, beheading of corpse released, and a robust exercise in progress to end spread of chickenpox at LUSIGNAN Prison. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Transitions Light Intelligent Lenses. Pick your color. Choose your style. Available at Optique Vision Care.
I bet for the excitement. I bet for the thrill. I bet to win with I Bet Supreme. Get a $1,000 welcome bonus when you sign up. Top up and cash out with MMG. Visit ibetgamesur.com or your nearest iBet location.
Are you having sore throat, fever, coughing, headache, or runny nose? Take Cetamol Cold and Flu day or night. Ask your pharmacist for Cetamol Cold and Flu and get back to the happier you.
Distributed by Massy Distribution.
Are you having sore throat, fever, coughing, headache, or runny nose? Take Cetamol Cold and Flu day or night. Ask your pharmacist for Cetamol Cold and Flu and get back to the happier you.
Distributed by Massy Distribution.
Fitness enthusiasts, the CARES CrossFit Caribbean Championships is here. Witness the intense rivalry and competition over 2 days beginning on Saturday, April 6 in the pool at the National Aquatic Center and ending on Sunday, April 7th on the National Park tarmac from 13 hours. The performances will be over the top with the athletes from the Netherlands, the USA, the United Kingdom, the Bahamas, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana, pushing for more than $4.6 million in cash. Get your tickets now from Fitness Express, Gizmos and Gadgets, Lotus Hardware and CARES CrossFit Gym. It's CARES CrossFit Caribbean Championships on April 6 and 7 in Georgetown. Compliments of Bumblebee Foods, Lucozade, Assyria, Fitness Express, Builders Yumby Yard, Lotus Hardware and Yellow Mine Hydraulic Supplies.
Are you looking for an exciting Easter? Look no further than Digicel stores for incredible savings and a free Easter surprise. This Easter, Digicel is offering an extravagant deal. Purchase the Samsung A05 for just $21,000 or the Samsung A24 for only $39,500 and receive a free kite with your purchase. Make this Easter a memorable one. Visit a Digicel store today and crack open these amazing deals. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
You're watching the evening news. The processing of Schengen visas will be done in Guyana next year following the opening of a French embassy here, a development which will ease the burden on Guyanese wishing to travel to Europe. Currently, Guyanese have to travel to Suriname in order to process visas for entry into a majority of European countries. But with the application process moving to local shores, stakeholders anticipate a boom in business-to-business and people-to-people movement between Guyana and Europe. EU Ambassador to Guyana, René van Ness, spoke with the evening news on these latest developments. Here's a look.
The French foreign minister was here in Guyana and he made an important announcement. And the announcement is that France will open an embassy in Georgetown. That embassy will be fully operational from next year onwards. And with that new French embassy in Georgetown, they will start to issue Schengen visa. So if you want to travel to Europe, you can go next year to the French embassy and get your Schengen visa here, and you no longer have to go to Paramaribo. And so that will really be a big change for everyone that wants to visit Europe. The European Union is the third largest single market in the world. So after China and India, the European Union, with almost 500 million consumers, is a very important market. So it offers opportunities for all the products that Guyana wants to sell. European businesses are very interested to come to Guyana. These are often businesses that really provide quality products. Think about your Mercedes or your Audi and you get a feel for what European products entail. So Europe is already here in Guyana. Think about companies like SBM that have all these huge platforms that actually take the oil from the ground, and they are the main contractor for Exxon. You have Jan de Nul, who is creating this artificial island at Vredenhoek. You have Saipem, that is a specialist in underwater technologies. So Europe is here, but I expect that with the European Chamber that has now been established and the Schengen visas that you can more easily get from next year onwards, that you will see a lot more Europe in Guyana.
Family members of the deceased person whose tomb in the LUSIGNAN cemetery was recently desecrated have expressed concern over the release of two suspects, one of whom police say had confessed to the crime. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael, who has been following this story, reports that family members say they are now living in fear following the actions of one of the suspects since his release from police custody. Here's that story.
It was on March 19 that the tomb of Manishwar Jarahir was vandalized and the body of the fisherman was removed from its final resting place at LUSIGNAN Cemetery and beheaded. 3 days later, the police issued a statement outlining that two persons were in custody in relation to the incident and that one of them had confessed to the crime. The police said they arrested two men in connection with the desecration of the tomb of the 52-year-old, which occurred between March 17 and 19 at Murphy Dam Cemetery in Rosignol, West Bank, Berbice. In custody were Khalil Majamutu, also called Brito, and Lyndon Davis, also called Mamaji, both of Mackenzie Street, Murphy Dam, Rosignol Village. The police said Majamutu was arrested and upon interrogation admitted to participating in the desecration of the tomb and corpse of Jarahir. Majamutu claimed that Davis is the one who had broken the tomb and together they removed about $28,000 from the casket. According to the police release, Davis denied any involvement in the incident. Regional Commander Assistant Commissioner Curtis Simon told this newscast that the two suspects had to be released on station bail after being held for 22 hours without charges being implemented. He, however, noted that it is still an active investigation. Meanwhile, family members have expressed concern over those developments. Jarahir's sister, Geeta Najruddin, says she does not know why the suspects are allowed to roam the streets.
We want justice for our brother. And the two guys that confess, they're out there. I don't know why, but they're out there, and we fear for our life.
Jarahir has 7 siblings. According to some of his siblings, one of the two suspects had been roaming the community brandishing a cutlass and making remarks to family members since his release. One of Jarahir's daughters, Navita Jarahir, says she feels that police might not be acting in the best interest of justice.
They need to work a little more up on it, the investigation or whatever, the third person or whatever they gotta get. I feel they could do a better job, but they're not doing it right, because it's really hard on me to go and see my father in that condition that I went the day there and see. It's really hard. I know I can't sleep, I can't eat, because it's not fair. We barely sat there to go and rest. Now for people go and dig up and chop out the neck and all of that.
The fact that these guys would have provided some information to the police after they were arrested, but now they've been released from custody, how do you all feel?
Well, we feel that the law is not doing anything. This law is, I can't say what I can say about this law. This law, we don't have justice at all, because the police is not doing their job.
The police were, within days, the police were able, after there was seemed to be no evidence as to who the perpetrators might have been after the discovery was made. But then within days, the police were able to arrest 2 persons, get confessions from them. How do you all feel about that?
Well, we feel good about it when the police catch them. They did a good job. So we feel, safe from that one, that they hold them and we're going to get justice. But then a few days, they lose them.
Meanwhile, the Evening News was informed that one of the suspects was previously employed with a now dead man, but was fired over an incident. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
The Ministry of Health and the Guyana Prison Service have been working robustly to address an outbreak of chickenpox at the LUSIGNAN prison. As we hear in this Trishelle Sobers report, there are currently 18 active cases and 35 recovering cases of the disease.
The Ministry of Health has commenced the administration of chickenpox vaccines to the general population at the LUSIGNAN prison as the Guyana Prison Service seeks to bolster efforts to eradicate the spread of the virus within the facility. There are currently 18 active cases and 35 recovering cases. No new cases have been detected. Advisor to the Minister of Health, Dr. Leslie Ramsamy, told the Evening News on Wednesday that the situation is under control.
Among the measures we have taken is to provide antivirals to treat the patients, and also calamine lotion that help to relieve the itching. No visitor has been identified yet with symptoms of chickenpox, but because people could have could be infected without the symptoms, and therefore they would look normal and may develop later. So that's why they're looking at a list of all visitors and doing contact tracing right now.
Medical and surveillance teams are conducting contact tracing to identify the source of the infection to ensure no further spread of chickenpox occurs at the LUSIGNAN prison. Medical teams are also conducting surveillance and screening in other prisons. As a result, advisories have been sent to officers in charge of the penitentiaries to be alert to possible outbreaks.
We have started advising the prison officers at other sites that they should be looking out for these symptoms. And we are also offering vaccination to staff members at other prisons to ensure that the possibility of spread, given that prisoners are moved around, sometimes to the courts, etc. We suspect it might have been a prisoner who came in and who was exposed in a home setting. So we will be in a better position to say so as our contact tracing is completed.
Chickenpox often starts without the classic rash and instead a fever, headache, sore throat, or stomach ache. These symptoms may last for a few days with a fever, while the red, itchy skin rash usually starts on the belly or back and face afterward. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
3 girls of MASSARA, North Rupununi, Region 9, yesterday drowned while swimming in a fish pond in their village. Their sisters, Michelle Jeffrey and Nia Jeffries, and their cousin, Alicia Doric. Their age 5, 6, and 9 respectively. Police reported that the girls left their parents' home to go for a swim. Their parents later started searching for them after they did not see them in the house. The girls were found floating in the pond by villagers who had joined the search party for them. After their bodies were found, the Tushao of the village notified the police at Anai of the incident. Autopsies are expected to be conducted this weekend. And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Thursday, March 28, 2024 at 4 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Bevis River Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic at 5 hours 45 on Thursday, March 28, 2024, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
Harpy Eagles move up points table after round 5 and Golden Jaguars drub Cambodia 4-1. Details of these stories coming up in the Sportcast, sponsored by Maccorp.
Stock the finest in the country, both ceramic and porcelain, tiles and chandeliers you'll see while you shop around stress-free. Well, train stop at warming halls, make your shopping smooth and calm, providing you with quality to match your style that's so unique. Mima Decor.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality, or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
I bet for the excitement. I bet for the thrill. I bet to win with I Bet Supreme. Get a $1,000 welcome bonus when you sign up. Top up and cash out with MMG. Visit ibetgamesur.com or your nearest iBet location.